What's up tech, it's Josh here, and this is a review I've been looking forward to putting together ever since I got the honor back at their product launch event in California. It's been a wonderful device and I've thoroughly enjoyed using this phone. It's actually become probably one of my top favorite devices of this year. There's a lot to talk about. I want to talk about what I like about the phone, what I don't like, some areas of improvement. So let's go ahead and dig on to this review because there's a lot to cover. This phone looks amazing. I've never seen a phone that has such beautifully crafted glass. Being that I've used the Galaxy S6, the Note 5, the S7 Edge, and the Note 7, those phones don't hold a candle compared to how nice the Honor 8's glass is. The reason it looks so great is because of how they manufacture the glass in many layers. There's actually about 15 different layers altogether. And that gives this sweet glimmer effect as the light is captured and passed through the glass. In a sense, it's like a custom prism of light. This definitely is one of the phones that you don't want to cover up with a skin or a case. Another nice fact is that this back is completely flat. There's no camera hump, no fingerprint button hump. Yeah, it's completely flush and flat. That's something that you don't see these days until now. Which actually leads me to my next point, which is button placement. I'm a big fan of having the power and the volume rocker on the same side, and that really helps with one-handed use. You can hold the phone in one hand, you can navigate the volume controls and the power button with one hand. You don't have to skim me across the other side like on other devices to control the volume and such. I like that they've placed the fingerprint sensor on the back end side. It's one of those things that you really get used to using it on the back side once you use this device, and if you go to another device, you're going to end up reaching for that area. There's been plenty of times on my Note 7 that I've reached for the button on the back but end up hitting the camera where it's located on that Note 7. Since we're talking about the fingerprint sensor and the button, let's go ahead and talk about it. It's just not a fingerprint sensor to where you place your finger on it to unlock your phone screen or like an extra level of security. It's actually a button and it's programmable, so I'm going to show you that in just a second. But what's really cool is that it's really quick and fast. You can see how quick that unlocks the phone. So I like how snappy it is. It's really easy to use. You actually don't have to be that accurate when you do press it. You can kind of slightly press it and it turns on. So it's really cool that they do that, and it's actually smart, so it'll actually learn your fingerprint the more you use it. Something similar that we saw with the Nexus 6P. And this is one of my favorite features about this phone is that you can program the button. There's about 4 different ways that you can program it. You can press, double press, and long press, or swipe down. The way I have mine set up is that when I just press it, it goes to my messages. If I double tap it, it goes to my camera. If I long press, it goes to Google. The other option that you can do, which is just basically toggling it on, is to pull down the notification shade. You can see here, when you drag down, you can see notification shade or your shortcuts. It's a feature that I've gotten really used to using and I really want to see on other devices. If you want to change it up, all you got to do is go to your settings, go to Smart Assistants, and Smart Key. This is where you program the different actions that you want to do, and you can open up any app that you program it to. Personally, I like messaging, camera, and Google. If you want to change it up, you can go to a shortcut or open an app. I'm a huge fan of anything that makes life easy, anything that gets me to what I want to do quicker and faster. My next favorite feature about this phone is definitely the camera. It's got some really cool features, so let's go ahead and talk about that real quick. You might notice here on the shutter button that it's got some different levels going up and down, and basically that's showing that it's got voice commands on, and it's a really cool feature that I like to use just for different situations. My all-time favorite feature about this camera is the aperture mode. What's really neat about aperture mode is that you can create some really cool bokeh effects. You tap on the subject that you want to snap the picture, go back to your gallery, and what's really neat about this is that you can go back to this photo and change the different depths of field. All you basically got to do is just tap the feature right here, select your subject, then you can adjust your aperture right here. I like to leave it all the way up, and what that does is create this really awesome bokeh effect. And the other cool thing that you can do is add some filters to that. This is one of my favorite filters here in the back. It creates a really cool effect. So this phone gives you some really cool options to post to social media, just some different features that you can't do with most other phones. All you gotta do is hit save, and then you have this really cool effect. The camera's loaded with a bunch of other features, so just to kind of give you an overview of what you can do, you got Pro Mode, Beauty Shot, you got Video, Pro Video, Beauty Video, you get some food shots, Panorama, HDR, Night Shot, Light Painting, that's a feature that I still gotta try to find a good spot to do at, Time Lapse, Slow-Mo, Watermark, Audio Notes, and Document Scan. Then you just swipe over from your right hand side for your basic settings of like resolution and whatnot. Another quick way to get to your camera is to double tap the volume rocker from the lock screen and it launches the camera. My favorite way to gain access to the camera is to double tap the fingerprint sensor and it really launches it pretty quick. Video wise, the downside to this is that it does not have optic image stabilization, and I took this outside to kind of give some test footage, so take a look at that. When a camera has optic image stabilization or OIS, it really helps with that stable shot. It looks really nice and smooth. So if you're looking to use your phone for video, you might want to consider that you're going to need some sort of stabilization. DJI actually just recently released a new stabilizer for smartphones, and I'll leave a link down below in the description where you can pick that up. If you plan on using the video option with the Honor 8, you're going to need some sort of stabilization. I want to touch on battery life real quick, and it's really not a subject that I like to get into. So basically, this phone gets me through the entire day, even when I consider myself a power user. There's a few different options here that you can use to save your battery life, or if you want to get optimal performance. I leave it on smart because that way I'm able to kind of get a balance between performance and battery life. As I mentioned before, this phone is a great one-handed device. It's really nice and easy to hold in the hand. It feels comfortable. It's relatively thin. It's actually a pretty nice slim profile. Got the buttons on one side that really helps make it a one-handed friendly device. It's a 5.2-inch screen, which really makes it easy to navigate across the entire screen without straining to stretch across to the other side. Now typically I do like the bigger size phones, like a 5.5-inch is usually my minimum. 5.7 is my favorite, but I've not gotten annoyed using this phone and thinking that it's too small. If you're looking for a phone with this size or form factor, this is definitely something to take a look at. Since we're talking about the screen is a 1080p screen, and if you were looking at it with the naked eye, you wouldn't really realize that it's that 1080p. 1080p is kind of considered old tech at this point, but Honor does a really good job with how they built this screen. The Honor 8 reminds me of an Autobot. There's so much optimization, you could actually name this thing Optimus Prime. After all, it's got a cool blue color scheme. Anyways, the OS is beast on many levels. Just walking through the settings really tells you how many features are involved with Emotion UI. Personally, I'm a features guy, so I really enjoy using this OS. Without getting into a battle between if stock Android or skins like Emotion UI or TouchWiz are better, let's just say in my opinion stock Android always needs improvement. What I like about Emotion UI is that it's packed full of features, so I'm just going to go over one section of this, which is Smart Assistance. There's a lot of cool stuff about it. I've already touched about the smart keys, let's go on to the other stuff. You've actually got motion control, so you can flip, pick up, raise the ear, you can tilt, do screenshot, and draw. The draw option is pretty cool. You basically use your knuckle to open up applications. So you can draw the letter C, the letter E, the letter M, W, and you can program it to open up certain apps. So this is basically how it works. You kind of knock on the screen and then draw the letter. And that opens up the app that you have it programmed to. There's these subtle details that I like about Emotion UI. One example is the notification shade. As you can see here, just not a normal notification, you actually get a profile picture of someone if it's like a Twitter account or contact. You can see who the notification is coming from, not just that it's coming from a certain app. I've also got this programmed to if I pull down from the right hand side it goes to shortcuts, or if I pull down from the left hand side it goes to my notifications. As you can see, Emotion UI has a ton of different features that really helps make the experience that much better for the Honor 8 user. Another practical aspect that I like to touch on about phones is actually the earpiece volume. The calls come in really nice, crisp and clear. It's loud enough even in loud environments. I am so thankful that companies are bringing back the SD card. That's something that kind of got lost last year, but we're starting to see it come back. The SD card is located on the left-hand side of the device, the same spot where you put your SIM card in. I don't have one in there right now, but if I wanted to, I could add up to 128 gigs. I've got the 32 gig model for the internal storage, and you can see right now, and I do have a ton of apps loaded onto this phone that'll still have plenty of space to go. You got two options for internal storage, which is 32 or 64 gigs. There's just a few areas of improvement that I would like to see from the Honor 8. First of all is the videography. Don't get me wrong, it's got a great video camera as far as the quality goes, but there's one factor that would fix it all, which is OIS. OIS would make this phone nearly perfect. I wouldn't plan on using this phone for vlogging or anything like that, but using that Gimbal Stabilizer will certainly give the results needed to get those crispy videos. Carrier support. This is where my feelings are hurt just a little bit. My main line is Verizon, but the Honor 8 only supports GSM networks. I would love to use the Honor 8 on Verizon. And before all the Verizon haters sound off, please mind, T-Mobile does not have great coverage in my area, and I'm still rocking the unlimited data plan with Verizon. At this time, I'm using T-Mobile for the Honor 8, so that way I could give you guys a really good in-depth review about my experience with this device. And I must say that T-Mobile has improved in this area, it's just not quite good enough to swap on over. What I plan to do with this phone is use it as a business line, and I'll probably switch on over to Cricket Wireless. The other thing that I don't really care about is having a speaker on the bottom hand side. The reason why is because if I'm holding the phone like this, it's easy to cover up. Even if I'm holding the phone in portrait mode, it tends to kind of get covered up at times. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something that I do need to point out. If the speaker was placed here in the front, it would have made the experience so much better. Once I've used front-facing speakers like on the Nexus XP or the old HTC phones, it really just enhances the audio experience for the user. Another area of improvement is auto brightness. Now, I've got bright lights going on right now, so it's not going to get too dark, but it gets too dark for my taste. Normally in dark conditions it goes all the way down and you can barely see the screen. I do like being able to do that if I want to, like let's say if I'm in a theater or something. Just in normal household conditions it just gets too dark for what I think it needs to be. So that could be something that could be fixed in a future software update. So a few other things that I want to kind of touch on and just kind of make note of. One, that it does not have wireless charging. That's not a deal breaker to me, but I know that a lot of people look forward to having that feature. This does not support wireless charging. If you're looking to get the official case, it's not too much of a case. Although it does help keep the whole design intact of the phone. You can see that nice blue glimmer effect or whatever color that you have. You can see the glass really well. It's just that the case isn't that great of quality. It scratches up pretty easy. It's a really big fingerprint magnet, and it's only going to give you minimal protection as far as like bumps and scrapes. Which leads me to my next point, which is screen protection. I like to put tempered glass screen protectors on all my devices if I can help it. The Honor 8 has a bubbled edge on the front glass. So if you're looking to use a tempered glass screen protector, this is something that you're going to have to expect. Now if the tempered glass screen protector would go all the way to where there would be no kind of ghosting, you'd have this like huge gap. There's already a sliver of a gap where the screen is just left exposed. It's not like this deal breaker, but it's just something that I want to point out to you guys in case you plan on using a tempered glass screen protector with this phone. This actually has an IR blaster, and IR blasters are almost unheard of these days, but somehow Honor has squeezed one in the Honor 8. I've really not taken advantage of using IR blasters in the past, so I've kind of played around with it a little bit, and let me tell you, it's actually a really cool feature if you could take advantage of it. The Honor 8 is a heck of a device. You're getting a phone that's going to be definitely worth the money. It's beautifully crafted, it's packed full of features, and there's a ton that you can do with this phone. Not to mention it's part of an upcoming company that has a promising future. If you're looking for a phone that's great for social media, playing games, getting those everyday tasks done at the quickest possible way that you can do them, this is a phone to check out. At this time it only costs $399 for the 32 gig model, and you can buy it from a number of different places. I'll leave all those links down below in the description. Mind you, if you're the person that likes stock Android, this is something that you're going to have to get over with Emotion UI, but it's not hard to do. You can actually download themes to cover up the skin. I've covered a ton about this phone, and I want to know what your top favorite features about the Honor 8. If I were to give you my top 3, it would definitely be the design, the fingerprint sensor, and then the camera. Thanks guys for watching this video. I know it was a lengthy one, but I wanted to cover everything that I could about this phone. As I said, there's so much to talk about. If you stuck around for the entire video, let me know down in the comments by leaving the comment, Cowabunga Dude. If you don't want to miss any more Honor 8 videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and also follow me on the social networks. I love to post about what I'm doing, what projects I'm working on over on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks guys again, and I'll see you in the next video.